immersive technologies as technologies that blur the line between what's real and what's digital. And virtual reality is one immersive technology. So it's like you feel like you're in the video game. That's VR. You're in some place other than where you're physically, standing or sitting. So that full immersion experience where you experience sort of, I'm present somewhere else. That's what VR is.
It was really interesting because, like I said, I'd studied it, I'd looked into it, I'd seen videos of what it's supposed to look like, but I'd never worn it before. So you start and you sit down, you're sitting at a desk, and you look down and you see your arms and hands, and obviously there's no sensors, so you can't move it, but you try anyway because you're like, that's my hand, what the? And then you try to move it and you can't, obviously, and so you're sitting at the desk, and it was just really interesting because I knew you could turn around. That's the obvious aspect of it. But even more than that, you could lean forward and lean back, and your perspective changes. So there was the desk in front of you, and you could lean over and look under the desk.
If you think of VR as a new medium, just like radio was a new medium, television was a new medium, movies were a new medium, video games were a new medium, all of those technologies and new medias helped us tell our stories better to each other. We've never really been able to create environments out of our imagination and go in them together before. So I imagine that experiencing something like the refugee crisis in Syria or some of the other things that are happening around the world, to be able to not just see that like on a movie, but be there in that space and feel what those devastated buildings in Syria look like in perspective. Hopefully that will help us learn from each other and communicate in ways that we can't right now.
I can see it definitely reaching out to people's emotions because you're no longer looking at it through a monitor. You're able to actually look around in the world.
Sympathy and empathy are two very different things. And sympathy is something you can experience by watching a commercial ad and, wow, that tornado looks terrible, those homes are all destroyed, or some other bad situation that you can see and you can sympathize with. But you can't really feel it unless you've experienced it yourself. And while virtual reality, just the headset themselves, isn't really completely getting you there, it's an immersion technique. So once you're immersed and you experience it, even if it's not all the way, it's much more than you'd be just by looking at a picture of it. It's able to go from sympathy to empathy. And that's really the difference between, maybe helping someone or maybe not helping someone. It's whether you've experienced it or not. And virtual reality is the best way to do that.